is over. The Rebels have won.
A star is born in Celtic.
Champions. That's who we are.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Jungle Gyms podcast. Today is Saturday and we've just beat the fucking VAR, the opposition and the VAR, and we've won 2-1 just when they thought they had us. We pulled it back and now it's a World Cup break. We go in 9 points clear over the Rotten Mob. They drop points earlier on the day and a lot of talking points today. Very, very happy. First half rather turgid, but second half, although we conceded in the second half, we brought it back with the 2 goals. A lot to discuss. A game of heroes and villains. The hero being Rio Hitate for me. The villain being the referee, an absolute wanker. And we will get to that. We've got Paddy and we've got Andy in the house. Andy, I'll go to you first. How you doing, mate? Welcome to the show. How you doing? And what was your thoughts on the game?
Thanks very much for having me. Hello, Paddy. Hello, Gav. And all your viewers. I think the first half was a bit kind of stale, I would say. Again, we're going to get into this with the VAR, but it will get torn to bits, which I think it deserves to be. I'm absolutely sick of it already, and no, I don't understand when it comes to VAR as well. It's like, why is it even introduced halfway through the season? Why don't we waiting to introduce it at the start of next season? Why is it? Because there's going to be issues coming up where decisions have been made through VAR at this point, whereas at the start of the season, they were allowed to just run. So you're going to look back and things go, well, that would have been a penalty, or that would have been a handball, or that would have been a sending off, and it's a contradiction.
It is, mate, it is. VAR, again, them working in tandem with the referee against us. It's not often I say that, but really, the writing's on the wall. I think VAR just came into effect whenever we went top of the league, and that's when they thought they had to kind of bring in the cavalry. Paddy, how you doing, mate? What's happening?
I'm okay, mate. Obviously, just before we start off, just want to echo Alan Woods' sentiments. Big, massive congratulations to yourself, Mr. O'Donnell.
Oh, yes.
Yesterday.
Yes.
Well done, pal. Signed your life away.
Aye, so Woodsy was asking me what's happening with the honeymoon. The honeymoon is on hold right now. So I thought I would do the Jungle Gyms instead. Much more relaxing.
Take it at the World Cup.
Oh, mate. You can't kiss in the World Cup, man. What's the point? You get jailed for kissing in the World Cup.
So a big congratulations to yourself, mate. Obviously another fucking day of drama yet again. Unnecessary, unwanted drama. We were actually talking about this last night, weren't we, Andy, on the Celtic Supporters podcast. And we actually thought, well, I certainly thought, that there would have been a wee bit of kind of foul play at play the day, Gav. I thought that there wouldn't be any controversies after the last kind of debacle, and a lot of the kind of referee performances, the VAR decisions were highlighted, scrutinised. I didn't think it could get any worse. But today, mate, not just the absolutely shambolic, disgraceful decision to award that penalty, but the referee performance just in general, that has got to be up there with one of the worst refereeing performances I've ever seen, mate, throughout the entire game. That wee guy is either a dirty, cheating bastard, or he's just been pulled out of a crowd somewhere and just been given a referee tap and just says, go in, fucking kid, on, you're a referee. Shocking, mate. Absolutely shocking. But again, we're starting to feel echoes of Joe Steen here for me, because we're up against it now. We're up against the same old shocking decisions that we've always had, but it's been amplified now. For some reason, there's technology put in place to help these guys, but they're actually using it to their advantage to make it even worse for Celtic. So, as Jock Stein says, we'll fight everybody. Doesn't matter. We'll go out and win the game on the park. We'll show them. We'll get it up them. They can do whatever they want, and we'll still beat them on the park. And that's what we're doing. That's what's happening. And this team are fucking raring to go. And you saw it after the penalty it gave. The crowd went mental. Obviously went mental with the penalty decision, but they went mental supporting the team try to bring them all on, and it worked. Team come back, absolute heroes, every single one of them. Get up, you fucking SFA, VAR wankers. The referee is a arsehole.
Fantastic caption. Worthy of a tabloid newspaper any day. So there's a lot of positives to get into. So, by the way, welcome to the viewers. Hope you are all doing well.
Yes.
Keep your comments coming in. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you thought of the referee and, of course, about the actual players' performances today. So there's some negatives and positives. One positive, Andy, I'll just throw this one to you. I could ask this near the end, but I'll just ask you right now. How does it feel going into the World Cup break being 9 points ahead?
Absolutely magical. I mean, we probably come on a wee bit kind of downhearted a wee bit because of the refereeing display, but you've got to look at where we are right now, which is, as you say, 9 points ahead with the World Cup break coming up. Couldn't ask for any better than that. The Whites worked out, especially the last 2-3 weeks. I think it's been absolutely fantastic. And fair play to the players and Big Ange and all. And they've been up against it. When everybody's been against this, they've come out and they've done the business. And it's fantastic. What a feeling. Brilliant.
It's brilliant, mate. It is brilliant. Paddy, there's going to be inevitable questions about this, but is the league over yet?
No.
I asked you this last week, and we said it'd be arrogant to assume the league is over, and it was a week ago. But now the picture is becoming a little bit more clearer. Now that can change. It is possible. Anything is possible with the concept we're up against. But it's a more interesting question now, isn't it? 9 points clear.
Well, we're certainly in a better position when you asked the question last week. I did say that if we could get into the and before the break, well ahead of that rotten mob, it would be the best possible scenario. And big massive thank you to St Mirren today, done us a favour. Although I believe there may have been a bit of VAR controversy there as well, as Andy was alluding to earlier on. But listen, 9 points going into the break, that is massive. It's a massive psychological factor as well, because they're in disillusion. They've lost another defender. The boy Cholak was injured, and they are just spiraling every single week. It doesn't matter what kind of feel good stories they bring out, what fucking sort of nonsense that gets put out the press. They are on a downward curve. Everybody wants the manager out. All the players are caught in the neck. It's a very dark place to be in Govan, but it's a very bright place to be in the other side of Glasgow, because we are fucking 9 points ahead. We're coming for it. We're taking the league. Come on.
Right, we've got a comment here to Bet Scotland, and he says, if you said that we'd be 9 points ahead at any point of the season, I would say it's over. So here we are, 9 points ahead. So I think he is certainly a glass half full man. We've got Woodsy saying, I can be as pessimistic as Frank Brennan, but we ain't losing this league. You guys can say it. I'm not quite there yet. I'm not going to say it. Right, okay, let's get into the game. Why not? The lineup itself. So there was a few changes. I was wondering, I've not read any of the pre-match comments for Ange about why he justifies his selection. He always gets asked those questions. So there's a few changes. Fullbacks being probably the biggest change, Bernabe and Ralston. And you had Jens in ahead of Starfelt. I don't know what the justification was for that. Jens actually came off injured. We're simply depressed. That's a good one. I like it. And in the midfield, O'Reilly, Turnbull and Tatati. So Turnbull gets the nod ahead of Moy. Interesting. Kyogo up front with Hacksaw and Maida. Now, Paddy, in the first half, it wasn't going well for us. And the inevitable question I had to ask was, what do you think of the selection in the first half? What do you think of the starting 11 whenever you consider the quality of the bench? Because the bench, Taylor, Starfelt, Double G, Abada, Moy, Jota, Abdigor, Siegrist and Forrest, a very, very strong bench. So he was giving these guys an opportunity, whether they did well in training or not. Maybe at the same time, I was thinking, does he have an eye on the World Cup for some of these players? But people like Maida, he started and he was still running about like a headless chicken anyway. So, what did you think of the starting 11, and how well do you think? How would you give the pass marks to the defence, midfield, and up front? I thought up front. Sorry, I'll stop talking. You take it away.
No, listen, it's obviously some changes were wrong, but the changes that were made weren't in any way kind of bringing the quality of the team down. I think on paper the team that started should have more than had the quality to blow Ross County away. At the end, mate, Angie's justified because his team won, so his team selection is certainly justified. But at times we were a wee bit flat. But I think mate, we dug in and eventually got there. So good on the boys. Come on, the boys.
Aye, and it's worth actually mentioning we did go 2-1 up before we made that raft of substitutions. Andy, what do you think was the reason for the kind of the lack of cutting edge in the first half? I felt that Ross County were happy to give up the flanks, but they were putting other numbers into the central of the kind of final third, and whenever the quality of the wide men and the fullbacks, the deliveries weren't really up to scratch, I felt. So what do you think we went wrong in the first half?
Just when you were talking about that tactic then, that they were getting up the wings, which is true, because they knew, see if Giacomakis was on, it would have been a different story, because they boys would have been getting put out and he'd have been doing something with it. That they were compacting their defence there in the middle, because they knew that as long as they kept Kyogo quiet, then there wasn't much else going to happen. Personally, I went with Giacomakis, but I'm always saying the same thing, as Paddy will tell you about Giacomakis. That's probably my assessment of it as well. The same as what you've just said there. That's one reason why they were kind of kept quiet and kind of subdued a wee bit.
Aye, I actually stayed at the start of the game. Okay, about 10-15 minutes in, I made a dad joke. I said to Paddy, "Who the fuck is this wanker who's refereeing today?" I hadn't heard him. I think his name was Ian Munro.
Aye.
David Munro.
And I said, Munro, aye. I made a dad joke and I said, it looks like we're going to have to climb a Munro today to actually win. And I didn't actually realise that would actually come to fruition. The guy was an absolute joker. Ross County were going down, and every time they did that, they were getting awarded fouls left, right and centre. I looked at the stats at half-time. We gave away 9 fouls. We committed 9 fouls to their 2. I don't think that's a fair reflection of how we played. It's a reflection of the referee. The guy was an absolute muppet. There was obviously he gives away the penalty for the ball hits O'Reilly's elbow, I believe, on the edge of the box. Not deliberate at all. Not deliberate in the slightest. I don't know what the handball decision is. I don't know what the rules are anymore. And I feel like pundits are saying that as well. Managers are saying that. It's so convoluted. And it just seems like the rules that we knew yesterday are no longer applicable today. It's the fucking Wild West now when referees are refereeing Celtic games. It's crazy. There was also the penalty call for Ralston where it was in the box and the defender was behind Ralston. He pushed him 2 hands on his back. Ralston went down. I will say this, Ralston went down like a ton of bricks, okay? But it was 2 hands on his back. And the referee never gave it. The ball went out for shy, and the VAR guys never called him. The referee was fucking shocking. Paddy, what's your thoughts on him, man?
Well, there's Patrick Post, the comment as well. What about the Ross County keeper? Dropping the ball, then picking it back up. He gave them a free kick as well, ironically. I know a lot of people kind of criticise Tom Boyd's style of commentary, saying that he's too kind of pro-Celtic. If that's fucking, I still think that's a shocking kind of opinion to have, especially when you take into account the amount of fucking anti-Celtic people in commentary and sports football in Scotland. But even he was fucking perplexed at basically every single one of the decisions. And one of the comments that he made, especially about that comment that Patrick was talking about there, about the keeper. Keeper had the ball, he put it down. He done his wee usual, waited for the guy to come on a wee bit, then picked it up again. Anywhere else, mate, and that's it's a free kick. It's a free kick. But the referee, in my mind, has cheated there because he's come up with some sort of excuse to overlook that, and he's gave an absolutely shocking free kick against Celtic. Disgusting. Everything he did.
See, pardon me, I'm sorry, mate. 5 minutes in, this was what put the guy on my fucking radar the day. 5 minutes in, it was a ridiculous referee call for a free kick against O'Reilly. Now, it was the guy, he dispossessed a guy called Maturi, who was a kind of the holding player. O'Reilly dispossessed Maturi and he fed in Kyogo, who was poised to face down the keeper. And the referee inexplicably gave away a free kick, and I just thought, so that's how it is. That's how it's going to be today. And of course, the referee saved the Ross County goalkeeper's blushes with that. He just gave a free kick. I don't know why. Strange. But for the first half,
every single thing that he did today slowed Celtic's play down. No, Celtic are renowned for their kind of quick progressions. Oh, we've got a wee visitor there, mate. Sorry, I'm just going to bring Kev Moon in for the Keno. Gav.
Cool.
Evening, Paddy boy.
Kev, you at the game, sir?
No bad. Just jumped in the car, just got rid of 140 veins, and it's fucking all good. They were bouncing.
So, if anybody doesn't know, Kev is one of the guys that organises the Keno Foundation. You probably saw behind the away goals the vast amount of kids that saw there cheering and screaming. So that's the boys for the Keno that organise all that. Kev, what was the kind of opinion for the fan crowd at the game today, mate? Especially with yet again another day of fucking VAR controversy, which we were talking about last night.
Today is the most that I've seen people stunned with not just VAR, but the amount of basic decisions that went against us today. It was absolutely frightening. On the point of the game, as I said last night, that group of players has got a desire, a determination and a will to fight to the end and win, and that was what got us through that the day again, although their penalty going one up was the thing that really sparked us into life. But we spoke about it last night. We got to make sure you get the 3 points. Anything else that came in the day was a bonus. The bonus was them dropping 2. We've dusted ourselves down. We're going in 9 points in front. Wee bit of sunshine. Get the injuries, any wee niggling injuries out the road, and a bit of relaxation of the muscles, and hopefully they're back in 5 weeks' time, fight nice and fresh again, and fighting fit to go for the second half of the season. But for where we are today, I don't think there are any Celtic fan out there that will be disappointed at all with where we're sitting now. If you'd have told us you were going to get something like this at the start of the season to stop for the World Cup 9 in front, you'd have said forget the games, we'll just take that to now.
Aye, mate. Aye. Kyogo was a bit disappointing in the first half. There was a cutback for Burnaby, I think it was, and he opted to take a touch rather than just shoot, and the ball was taken off his toe at that point. I think Kyogo was a wee bit disappointing in the first half. Andy, what did you make of his overall performance?
No inspiring, really, to be honest with you. I never really thought much of it. I would have had him off sooner than when he did come off. And he had a great chance as well, which I think he just put by the post, didn't he? And that was the second half. So I wasn't impressed with Kyogo. I wasn't really impressed with Kyogo today. Thought Hatate played well.
Oh, superb.
Hatate, that's what I said at the start. He was the hero for me today. He plays with a lot of confidence. Like, I've used that phrase, calm as a Hindu cow, and I think like for him, he doesn't panic. He's a wee bit like Juranovic in that way. He doesn't panic. He's capable of making like silly errors. Like it was on the 94th minute. This was another thing that the referee did. He played 5.5 minutes of stoppage time. I don't know where that came from, but Hatate with like around the 94th minute, he did this silly little flick when he was almost in their box and he gave away possession, and then we are back on the run trying to defend with our lives. Silly little things like that. If he cuts that out of his game, albeit he's still very, very young, he's only played about 80 odd professional games, but if he cuts that out, of his game on a daily basis, then that guy will rise to the top. So I agree with you, Andy. He's definitely one of our better players. For me, my kind of favourite Celtic player that I see every fortnight in Parkhead. But going into the half-time break, it wasn't working for us, and we never made the changes at half-time, which Ange has sometimes done. But as you said, the penalty that went against us, that kind of sparked us into life. So that was about in the 50th minute. A VAR handball against O'Reilly, hits off his elbow, and of course, referees will give it now. It's like the Christmas sales, you know what I mean? You just get a penalty for the slightest effort at all now against Celtic. So they scored, and at that point, we knew that we were up against it. It was going into about half an hour remaining in the game, and we really had to get 2 goals. Paddy, what was your thoughts at that point? Were you optimistic that we had enough in the engine, in the tank, to turn this over?
Aye, and I think that's testament to the kind of siege mentality that Andrew's built at the team. It's evident with the crowd. Even when Celtic are losing goals, you're still hearing total support for the crowd. Nobody's gone, oh, for fuck's sake, the morale's dropping. You're not getting that anywhere this season. Everybody's up for the fight, and that includes the manager, the coaches, the players, and the supporters. We've spoken about this before, Gav, about how we think that the club as a whole is in the one tandem now. Everybody's on the hamstring, and we can look to that bench for talking sake, and we can see how strong a squad that we've got now. We've got the 5 substitute rules that we're benefiting from, and we can do things, mate. We can turn our tactics around at any point during the game. We're not just a one-trick pony. We're not just a one-man team. We are a squad. Do you know what I mean? Well, it's like the Roman centurions, mate. They were only so strong because every single one of their guys was an important cog in the battalion, and that's the way it is for Celtic. Like there's no chinks in our armour, mate. We're a frightening outfit domestically now.
Would you agree with that one, Kev? And do you think there was any passengers today?
I don't know so much like passengers. There was 1 or 2 off the pace a wee bit. The first half, I didn't think Hatate was too hot, but the second half, he was different class. Turnbull's seen a lot of the ball, but for me, a lot of it went back and sideways, and Bernaby kept bringing his cell into the middle, and there was all that space out on the left-hand side. But when the managers try to utilise his squad all the time and tweak things, it's not always going to be perfect. But as I said earlier, we've sort of come through the last week, ground out results, and had that desire and determination and the will to win. I don't really think there was chinks in the armour. If there was any big pluses, it was Anthony Ralston in the second half, had 2 or 3 where a lesser type guy would have maybe shot himself, for want of a better word. He just went full steam ahead, and he won 2 or 3 timely 50-50s there, which if he didn't, we could have been in a wee bit of bother. But I don't really see any chinks in the armour, to be honest with you. But
I'm glad you said that. Aye.
What I'm going to say is if you don't mind, the traffic's going to start moving, guys. So I'm going to sign out before I wrap a motor in my neck here.
Drive safe.
No worries, lads. I'll catch you later. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks for coming on, Paul. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Andy, I'm glad you said that. I actually made a note of this. Ralston's recovery pace, I don't think I quite appreciated it as much as what I have done today. Ralston defensively today was spot on. He was aware of the danger. He was covering for other people. He bailed us out a couple of times. What did you make of his performance?
I thought he was fantastic. Probably one of the best players on the park, to be honest with you, if not the best, in my opinion. I'm glad he started. I think we spoke about it last night, Paddy. I think we all agreed that he should start and thought he would start. And I think he deserves to start. The boy's quality, seeing you think he like everybody's opinion when Nance first came in, and I'm pretty sure there was a video going about when Nance first arrived at Lennoxtown, and I think Ralston was the first player he spoke to or something like that. You can see him sitting down the gazelle and shakes his hand. At that time, I bet you never thought that Ralston would be the player that he is now, because he's brilliant. And the good thing is he's come through our system, which is we want to see more of that as well. We want to see more of our own players coming through and actually making it in the first team. All right, he's went out on loan to do that, but a few other players have as well. But I think he's a brilliant player, strong, physical, absolutely committed. I think he's actually a good crosser at the ball as well as a good defender. But he had a good game.
Aye, a few good comments there for Joe Curran. He said that he can't believe that he used to slaughter Ralston. I think, unfortunately, we're all guilty of that. I know that football fans can be fickle, but sometimes we call it straight. And once upon a time, he was putting in bad performances, but now he's turned it around. Hats off to the man. Rags to riches type story, if you want to call it that, for a football and inspiring tale. Let's get to the goals then for Celtic. So we're 1-0 down. We're approaching the hour mark, and we're thinking with the referee and the way that we've been creating chances, we're thinking we'll go until the end, but will this be the day that we drop points and we don't manage to capitalise on this potential 9-point lead that we're going to have going into the World Cup? So, 62 minutes, Turnbull, he slots through the keeper's legs. Now, this all came from Hatate, but if you go back a few seconds, I think Turnbull actually played a 1-2 with O'Reilly on the edge of the box. He then feeds in Hatate, who's on the left side of the box, and Hatate, he does a feint, and it actually clears out about 3 county players out of the equation. And then at that point, he's got the opportunity, head up, pick out Turnbull, and Turnbull just a couple of yards out, and he hits it first time, side foot shot through the keeper's legs, and that's us. 1 each, and we know the fans just start singing at that point. The noise volume goes right up at Parkhead, and we know the game is on. Game is well and truly on, and the fucking Ross County players, they knew what time it was as well. And only 6 minutes later, Hacksaw. Now, I love this goal. It reminded me, Paddy, I said it to you, it reminded me of a putt by Tiger Woods. There was no...
He's a cut above the rest. Sorry, mate.
No, mate, I fucking love it. Props for a podcast. Fantastic. Right, so he plays a give and go with Hatate inside the box, and he deftly curls it in off the post. It just squeezes by the keeper's outstretched fingertips and off the post. And as I said, all finesse from the Montenegrin. Andy, what did you make of the 2 goals? We've got Turnbull from Hatate Magic, and then Hatate playing a big part in the second goal with the Hacksaw goal. Fantastic stuff. 2-1 up to the good. What was your thoughts on the 2 goals?
Aye, the 2 goals. I was really impressed with the second goal, actually. There was quite a good few 1-2s going on in the lead up to that. But Turnbull took his goal well. I thought Turnbull actually had a half-decent game as well. I thought he played no bad. Aye, good finish for the first goal. But as I said about the second one, I thought, and fair play to Hacksaw, it's his third goal now or something like that. Yep. So he's been dishing in many goals recently, which is good to see as well. But I like to lead up to the second goal. Was quite good movement there.
Mm-hmm. And a wee comment for Woodsy. Tigers put at Augusta with the night swoosh showing at the end. Mate, it was uncanny. Right, okay, so after that, we make the changes. Abada, Giacomakis, Jota, they come on. And Maida, Kyogo, and Hacksaw coming off, by the way. Wish Maida all the best. Aaron Cameron, Carter Vickers, and Moy. And who else am I forgetting? Who's going to the World Cup? Who's the fourth player? Moy.
Juranovic was the playing though, was he?
That's it, that's true.
Right.
I wonder if he had the conversation with Ange and says, "I'm going to leave me out." Although that would be a blight in his professionalism. I wouldn't want to cast that accusation at him. Paddy, after we rung the changes, Ross County were resorting to a lot of cynical shut pulling, resulting in a few yellow cards for them. It was making Hatate was raging at one point. He ended up comically almost going to give a guy a square go. It was about 2 foot higher than him. But we managed to see it out, and of course the ref being the ref, he added on 4 minutes. Well, the other official added on 4, but the ref in his wisdom played 5.5. We saw it out till the end, but the game in itself, good game, good talking points. First half not so good, second half the crowd got back into it. But the recent run of form that we've had since that St Mirren defeat, the 2-0 in Paisley, it's been one hell of a run, and we put in the hard yards and this is where we are, 9 points clear. And again, guys, to the viewers, get your answers coming in. Is the league over yet? So I'm just putting that question out there. For some people, they are. I think I heard someone say if it's 10 points and with the current goal difference, then yeah, that will be the swinging factor for them. But it's a fair question. Is the league over yet? Can we relax and enjoy the World Cup without any fear? Who knows? Paddy, take it away, mate.
No, I don't think we're at that stage just yet. As I said earlier on, we're clearly in a better position the last time that you posed us this question. But it's a comfortable lead to be going into the breakaway. It's better than 2 points, better than 3 points, obviously. So we've put ourselves into a right good spot. It's all been through our own hard work. I know, obviously, that point swing depends on the other team dropping points, but as far as I'm concerned, it's because of how good that we've reacted to kind of upsets, negatives, kind of anything kind of happening towards us. So we've put together a massive, great run, as you said, buddy. We're still going. We're still doing it and style. We don't stop until the end. Don't stop till the final whistle. We're still winning games. We're still taking it to the last minute, even if we have to. We are still taking all 3 points at every fucking possible opportunity. This team, as I say, is an animal domestically. I know there's a few guys that on the showing the same kind of levels as they did last season, but for me, the difference is that now the squad is so much better. It's a bigger squad. It's a more squad. The squad's more filled with quality. We don't have to rely on kind of as many individuals as we did have to do last season. So everybody's fighting for each other. We're fighting for the title. We're fighting to dominate Scottish football again.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm going to read out a wee snippet of the post-match comments for Postecoglou. He said, "It was a big win and a strong performance. I can't speak highly enough about this group of players. They were really strong mentally today. The crowd sense it. The opposition sense it. If something goes against us, we're not going to be bowed. If anything, the boys just put the bit between our teeth and go. It's a great trait to have. Whatever challenge has been thrown at us in the league, we've been outstanding. You don't sense panic at any stage with us. We have some quality players, but really strong characters too." Andy, brilliant comments with Postecoglou. So what's your thoughts on the mentality of the group of players that we've got? And does Postecoglou take all the credit for that?
I think he's got to take excuse me, I think he's got to take a lot of credit, obviously, because you can see his influence on the team and his attitude. When the guy speaks, the words that he speaks, you can see that on the park with their performances. And just when you were talking about the St Mirren result earlier on, the last one we get beat there, you can see a big change in the performance as well. I'm not saying it's been any kind of free-flowing football and stuff like that, but what I'm talking about is the actual commitment in the game. They've never say die attitude that I think has been evident in just about every game we've played. And now, with a break, they can take it easy. I know they're going to Australia. What's that? If you're reading out, good one. I know. I think I'd said a couple of weeks ago. I hope Ange is getting that checked out, because I think it's actually getting worse. That cough.
Let's face it, Fibudzi, VAR is the only thing doubting everyone about calling the league now. A very fair comment. It ain't the Rangers coming back, just corruption. People were talking about it.
By the way, sorry, Gav, by the way, I'm just going to say that I do think the league's early. But what I will say is, I just hope we come back for the World Cup after that big kind of gap between games and hit the ground running, because obviously with the disruption, when we get beat against St Mirren, we kind of stuttered a wee bit after that. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But then I think Rangers need to win every single game now and rely on us to slip up to have any kind of chance, because they look as if they're getting worse. We actually look as if we're getting better up with our performances and that. So
I'm loving it, mate.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, not at all, not at all. I actually I heard a comment for someone. I don't know if they phoned into a phone in or whatever, or if I was snooping on one of their forums. One of the wee orcs actually said that he hopes that the rotten mob slip up really badly and the gap just widens, because it would take away the sense of pleasure that we would have of a close title run-in. How poorly they understand us. It's just comedy gold. The more that they fuck up right now, it's just the wider our grins are. I'm loving it. I don't know what they do to stop the rot, to keep Gio or to let him go. The only, there is that kind of bounce back factor if you do get a new manager in. But of course, if they do that during the World Cup, if they're going to do it, they'll do it then. And they'll have the time to reassess how much money they have in the bank, if they're going to reinvest in January, and if they're going to sell the Deadwood. I don't know. Interesting times across the other side of the city, but it's not our problem. It's our entertainment. Paddy, I'm loving it. It's good.
Mate, as you say, it is entertaining, but like comments like that we hope the gap widens so that it takes the kind of glimmer off a title challenge. That's a Diddy team mentality. Long may it continue, because they are a fucking Diddy team. They had one fucking shining moment and a terrible season for us, and we've just come back stronger, and we're continuing to get stronger. We're going into the break. We're going to be coming into the festive period as well. We've got a few runs, and then obviously we go to Ibrox. Ibrox will be the test, I think, because it's a different kind of official there, isn't it? It's going to be back to the a few thousand fans allowed and that type of thing. It's always a hard place to go, but I think if we scud them at Ibrox, he goes. If he doesn't go before that, he goes at Ibrox. If and when we beat them there.
Paddy, do you think they can afford to get rid of him?
That's what I was just about to say there, Andy. You must have been reading my mind, mate. I don't think they can afford to get rid of him, because I'm sure that he's on a 3 or 4 year contract, as is Roy Mackay and the other two haddies that he's brought with him. So can they actually afford to sack?
You're talking about 5 million or around about that, something like
that? Potentially, mate.
Yeah.
They don't have that, So can they afford to sack the management team, bring in a new guy?
The banter years continue.
This is it, mate. But again, this is the only thing that I kind of double guess at times, because see, although it's great to laugh at your nearest rival's commiserations, it kind of makes you that wee bit more cocky. And when you become cocky, that's when you start thinking that you can just turn up and you can just win. And Celtic's done that before many times in the past, and it's turned around. We've ended up with egg on our face. But I think the difference this time is that Ange will never ever allow his squad or his players to go into a game with that attitude, because I don't think that he himself would ever have that attitude. He's quite a humble man, quite a concise man. Everything's planned to perfection. There's nothing overlooked. The coaching staff that's there now, I know for a fact, because I was told this firsthand, is that the kind of atmosphere and the kind of relationship between the entire coaching staff has never been better at Celtic Park. Never been better. So we've got some great leaders leading at the top there now. As I say, we're coming into January. I know that the boy, what's his name again, Gav? Kobayashi.
Yes.
Kobayashi.
Yes. Pete Postlethwaite from The Usual Suspects.
Mr. Kobayashi. I believe he's agreed terms on a deal. So it looks as if he's coming in as a free transfer. Angie's already been out and says that essentially their business is done in terms of their planning, their assessments, and who they're going for. So I think we will strengthen in January. I think we'll possibly bring in maybe another striker, maybe another midfielder.
Can I ask Andy, see if we do go for a striker, and I'm assuming, Paddy, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming you're talking about a central striker probably, or one of those Swiss pen knives, whatever you talk. Andy, what type of striker would you want to get? If what are we crying out for? We've got Giakoumakis and Kyogo. They're kind of polar opposites. What type of guy do you think that we need?
Oh, that's a hard one, I think. Probably a mix of the two would be quite handy if that was possible. I really don't know. I've not actually thought about it because we have got Kyogo and Giakoumakis, so that's a difficult one. I've not got an answer for you there.
No, it's a difficult one because whenever you're playing two up front, like a kind of little and large combination or whatever, you can see what combinations reflect well off the striking partners. But when it's only one person up front, I guess maybe someone with blistering pace, that would be interesting. But then again, Maida and Abada can do that. So, Paddy, January incomings. So, apart from a striker, as you said, where else do you think that we need to I don't know, are we shoring up in terms of numbers, or is there any need to actually bring in perhaps a quality player? We're looking comfortable. I don't know if there's any glaring deficiencies. So where are you looking to target, or where do you think Postecoglou will target?
I'm not actually sure, mate, because I think the squad that we've got the now is almost a complete squad. The only thing missing for me is that kind of combative ball-winning midfielder, the absolute powerhouse general that will just kick a shite out of somebody, if they're coming in trying to attack you. But other than that, we're missing Kalmak, who's the best player at the club, as far as I'm concerned, and we're still continuing to progress and steamroll through the league. I think that Moy's been kind of one of the additions that's come in and helped that. And obviously his experience should be helping out the squad. But I think if we're looking at recruitment, it needs to be with an eye for Champions League next year. Certainly, we could go into Champions League next year with the squad that we've got, but I think if we want to really, really have a proper and better goal than we did this season, we need to have possibly another two players at pure quality.
That's providing that we keep the players we've already got and we actually don't lose any at the minute. So your short list could totally change in January or even get into the summer, depending on who stays and who goes.
Aye, so obviously, like Jens, who's been a kind of stalwart, he's on loan. Obligor, although we've not seen him, he's on loan, so we might not sign the Obligor. We might not sign those two boys. We're signing the Japanese centre back by the looks of it. I'm hoping that he's going to be an upgrade on Welsh. Possibly let Welsh go out on loan and kind of progress himself on as a football player if he can come back. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's exciting times. I mean, I saw a thing today, Gav, that, who was it now? Bosun Lawal, Rocco Vata and Scott Robertson are going to be included in the trip to Australia.
Does that mean that Ben Summers, is that his name? Ben Summers, does he miss out?
I think so.
Yeah.
No, that might just be three that's included. I don't know if that's the full list, but I don't know.
Fair dues. One thing, Andy, which is a feature of our season, and it's a criticism, okay? But tell me if I'm being too negative. What I don't like and what I want to see improvements on, maybe after this World Cup, is whenever we go into games, our white men, and I'll caveat that with the white men, there's a lot of pressure on them to deliver for our sole striker, whether it be Giakoumakis or Kyogo. So I'll admit, whether it's Jota, Abada, Maida or Forrest, Hacksaw as well, there's a lot of pressure on them to get the delivery right. Whenever they give the ball away, naturally, wingers do give the ball away more than any other position, I think. But what I don't like is that sometimes when we start people like Abada and Maida, after an hour, we then realise, no, it's just not their day. It's happened quite often. Now, they both got qualities. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or if we're getting enough out of their qualities for the positions they're in. It's just an observation that I noticed that there's a lot of games at halftime, at the hour mark, it's just not happening and we take them off. It's happened in the Champions League. It's also happened domestically. And then we ring the changes and we're hoping that the subs, they've got even more pressure on them to perform as well. Am I just being harsh? Or do you think that's a fair criticism?
No, you're probably right. I'm in the thought that you always, if possible, start with your strongest team. And a lot of times you wonder with Andrew's kind of, who am I to criticise him, do you know what I mean? But you kind of go, how did you not just start with him in the first place and get the job done and then bring these players on after 60 minutes or whatever, 70 minutes, how long it is? Because he always makes changes. He always makes at least 3 changes anyway. It's just something he always does. He's got to, personally, when it comes to Maida, the guy's fast now, right? And it sounds stupid because of the goal he scored during the week there, but he's just not got a first touch for me. He shouldn't be anywhere near a starting lineup. He's the kind of guy that if you are in a game and you're maybe struggling a wee bit or maybe holding on to a lead, like just fire the ball up to him. Just get him to run onto a ball and take the pressure off the back if you can. He's no my fit. I've got nothing against him personally. I just don't think. I think there's better players there that can do a better job than him. Abada's hot and cold. He was hot and cold. He's really a wee bit inconsistent for me. And you've got to remember as well, when you were just talking about them getting the crosses on that, our fullbacks are coming in a lot and taking that ball off of them. So it's not as if they're under that much pressure to deliver the crosses all the time. A lot of time it's coming on for the inside and then getting put into the middle for there.
Aye, good comments on that one. Aye. Right, Paddy, we've got Sydney coming up on the 17th of November. Now, I'm looking at it just now. It says 9:45 in the morning. However, I did hear another report saying it's like 4:45 in the morning. So I don't know which is which. Regardless of the time, are you getting up for it, or will you be in your scratches?
I think I saw a comment saying that the games were actually getting put back an hour for whatever reason, but I think that still translates to like a 4:45 kick-off here in the morning. I'll try. I'll definitely try. I'm usually up about 5 o'clock in the morning anyway, so it's an extra hour.
Aye, so we'll get Sydney on the Thursday the 17th, and the following game is Everton. Aye, it's the Everton one, which is the killer, on the Sunday 20th at 3:45 in the morning. Now, I've on occasion
is that,
for a big
is that Saturday into Sunday or Sunday into Monday?
Saturday into
Sunday. Aye.
Oh, that's fine. I'll be up for that then.
On occasion, like for a big boxing fight, I might, like that's taking place in Vegas or whatever, I might get up at 4 o'clock in the morning or try and do an all-nighter to watch this. But guys, you'll be struggling to appreciate the game.
Do you know what, Gav? I think seeing as Celtic as a global fan base, and we've got so many hardened Celtic supporters all across the world, and it's not just people that can make the trips to Celtic Park and that, whatever. You know, you've got Celtic supporters clubs in Australia, New York, Hong Kong, whatever it may be, and these guys get up at fucking 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning to watch Celtic. So if they can do it, so can we. It's our turn now. Our turn to
That's a good point. Paddy making me feel guilty there.
Get up, you lazy bastard.
Aye.
Have we still got time to go mental at VAR?
Aye, of course. Right,
okay,
so
Andy,
one of the comments about this whole fucking VAR saga, this ongoing saga right now, is the Celtic fans want us to call it out, want the club to call it out. Now, I was thinking about it from an extreme point of view. You can't prove cheating unless you get fucking like a private eye to follow these guys and to buck their phones and stuff like that, and to hear them colluding. You can't take this to the court of sport and arbitration either. But what can we do? Can we do anything? And if the public, if the club do something, are they just playing to the public gallery? Can we influence at all? We've seen the Rotten Mob do it. They call it out. I don't know if they're just trying to appease their fans, but as a Celtic fan, when you see these perceived injustices, what would you like the club to do? Would you like Ange to be the person who reacts in the media, or would you like it to be the hierarchy who go through the channels? What would you expect?
No, I wouldn't want Ange to get involved in it because that's exactly what the press are looking for. After Ange is a reaction like that. I think he reacted a wee bit during the week to it, not too much. This is a club thing to do with the SFA who employ these so-called officials. Now, you said that you can't prove cheating. The thing with VAR is now, it actually kind of does prove cheating in a way because you can't just say it's all right. But the way it used to be would be a referee would make a decision and you just had to deal with it because he wasn't going to change his mind. It's all right looking after the game and looking at the replays. And then you could go, oh, he got that wrong, but he can't change it then. He's now sometimes not even making that decision. The decision's been made for him. He goes out to a screen and he chooses to give a penalty or a handball or whatever. Now, you can tell, especially with the decisions they've made, that we've always been up against it. And this isn't just a new thing. We've always been up against these people. They've always been against us. Decisions of majority of always went against us, and it will continue. And to me, VAR is just I don't know, it kind of just makes it more obvious because they're absolutely nothing stopping them for, to me, it looks like cheating. And I'm going to call it cheating. And other people might know why to call it cheating, but it is pure cheating, in my opinion.
Paddy, I know that you've got strong comments on that, so do you want to kind of, I guess that you can echo the thoughts of Andy here. And again, is it something that Postecoglou shouldn't go into the trenches for? You would rather it be the hierarchy. How do you address it? From a fan's perspective, you want to see action. And as Andy said, with VAR, it's highlighting these inconsistencies even more. We're getting more frustrated. It's becoming a regular feature now for all Celtic podcasts. It's unavoidable not to talk about it.
Well, there's a couple of things that you need to look at, a couple of factors. So obviously, addressing Ange first. I think Ange is going about it absolutely splendidly now because he is having these wee digs, but he's doing it in a subtle manner. You know, it's like we're up against it. That can be construed as anything. You know, if he was ever to get pulled up and say, "Well, what do you mean by that? Are you slandering the referee?" And he just says, "No, well, I mean, like, you know, up against hard teams, kind of stuff like that." He can justify himself. He can cover his back, as he has to do a lot of times in certain workplaces. Guys like me, I'm fine. I can speak my mind because I've got nobody to answer. To answer to, I'm not going to get fined. I'm going to call them cheating bastards because that's what they are. In terms of the hierarchy at Celtic challenging it, that would be the best form of attack. But if you look at recent events in history, you know, the Celtic board could certainly have highlighted corruption, injustices, cheating, and they didn't do it when certain clubs were found to be cheating. They didn't kind of go forward the whole road that they should. But I think the way it's going to have to happen, Gav, is that everybody is going to have to kind of start collectively showing their disdain for these decisions. I'm just going to read a quote out, right, from Michael Stewart, who I know he's obviously had his issues in regards to controversies and whatnot personally, but he's made a brilliant comment. So ranting on BBC. This is a news report for Celtic News Now, by the way. The Celtic News Now app. It's a great thing to get all your Celtic news from. So Michael Stewart on BBC Radio Scotland after the 2-1 victory. Stewart said, to the agreement of the other pundits, horrific. That could be the worst. For the referee to give it first and foremost is an absolute disgrace. It's a ridiculous decision. I can't believe VAR looked at it and said, yeah, that's fine. We must be playing a different sport here. He's a foot away from the ball. It ricochets up and hits his elbow, which is at his side. It's ludicrous. Those two incidents at Celtic Park in a short space of time are two of the worst decisions you will ever see. And absolutely. You said it earlier on, mate, the kind of interpretations of the rules ever so slightly changing. It's making it hard for people to actually understand because there is kind of differentials in the rules. We all know that the rule used to be that the handball had to be intentional. You had to kind of be seen to be attempting to stop the ball with your hand. Now the rules have been added to, and it says that if your arms are in an unnatural position, then It's there basically for the referee to interpret his kind of opinion, even though opinions shouldn't be a factor of a refereeing decision. It should be the law, it should be clear, it should be concise. But that's
I want them to tell us what a actual natural position for your arms to be in is.
Exactly, Andy, exactly. That's what we need to know as well. And that's why we should be hearing what the referees are saying, as they do in rugby. We should be hearing who these fucking dodgy individuals are in the VAR studio. We know who they are because they're telling you. But what are they talking about? What are they saying? Is these conversations recorded for people to be sitting like in training centres and say, like, listen, this is how we do VAR. This, like, you know. But Michael Stewart is absolutely spot on the day. That is the worst, because if you're going by the rules and you're going by referee interpretation, then that referee has cheated, as far as I'm concerned. His backroom team and the VAR pod have cheated, because Matt O'Reilly's hands are at his side. They're at his side. He can't possibly be trying to stop the ball. Basically, what's happened is it's went ball to hand, right? And I said this after the Michael Smith incident, that it's going to get to a point now, because of these rules, that players are going to start trying to be a bit more savvy. It's almost going to be the kind of on the ball scenario of a player going down a wee bit easy, taking a trick, con, maybe get the referee to make a decision on a foul. They're just going to kick the ball at a guy's arms. It doesn't matter how close they are, how far away they are. That's all you need to do now. You just need to kick the ball at somebody's arm. And as it stands now, if the referees are giving penalties that way, they need to get a penalty for it all the time. It doesn't matter if your hands are up behind your back. You could be standing in front of a guy and he kicks the ball off your hands, they're behind your back, it's still a penalty, because it's hurt your ball. It's hurt your arms, and they're in an unnatural position. That's an unnatural position.
That's the thing now, innit? They've set the standard, so they're going to have to continue to...
Exactly. But they've no set the standards, Andy. They've set the standards with particular incidents. They're not doing it for everything. They never done it for Michael Smith. His arm came out.
That's right.
I still think personally it was more ball to hand than hand to ball. And I know a lot of people disagree with that. But if that's the case, then they're not giving penalties for that. But they're giving penalties for you standing at your side and the ball hits your arm. It's fucking absolutely ludicrous. And then you look at the kind of how easy they're giving away penalties for handballs. It's almost as if they've actually discovered some fucking handball kind of loophole that they can say, all right, let's just give hundreds of penalties for handballs. But do you know what? Go and foul somebody in the box. Don't bother checking it. It's all right. Ralston gets pushed in the back. Aye, okay, Ralston did go down a wee bit. But it's by the letter of the law, if a defender is behind an opponent and they've got two hands on him and they push, that's the same as lifting your arm up to fucking hand a ball. I mean, he's put his hands on him, he's pushed him. Doesn't matter how hard he's pushed him, and the guys went down. There should be a penalty. If the referees missed it, the guys in the VAR should be going, by the way, go and have a check. Nah, nothing. Referee never saw it. Referee never gave a penalty for it. Shocking. It's totally fucking shambolic, mate. And I think the only way that's going to get this sorted out, sorry, I'm just getting to the tip of my fucking point here. We're not going to be able to get them for cheating, because as it stands now, if you go into a court of law, something like that, you would have to prove it. We can't prove it. There's only certain referees who have been proven against because they've been caught. Guys like fucking, what do you call? Oh, fucking Hugh Dallas. Fucking guys like this.
Who was the guy who denied cadets registration in the January transfer?
Jim Farry.
Jim Farry, right? But listen, we all know who these guys are, Gav. You and I have had this debate many a time. Like, you're saying to me, how did you prove it? How? And I say, I prove it with my eyes, mate, because I can see it. I don't need to know that a referee's cheating. Andy, you know guys like Bobby Tate, fucking, he's still doing the rounds, mate. He's still going about fucking Masonic clubs, Rangers fucking clubs. Do you know what I mean? Come on, T.
Willie Young, another one. Kenny Clark. We all know who these guys are. We all know. All the way back to the days of Tiny Wharton and all that. That famous photograph with fucking Greg with a wee fucking handshake.
Aye. So we all know what these guys are. We can't prove it as a concrete fucking thing. But now what I said to you ages ago, Gav, the reason why I'm happy that VAR's coming in, no because I think it's going to be the best thing that's ever happened to Scottish football, it's because when it comes in, it's a tool there that should be used to support these guys, right? If you're taking your tinted glasses off and you're dividing opinions or whatever, VAR's come in to assist the referees, video assisted referee. Now the refereeing is actually getting worse and they've been given a tool to make it better. So it highlights at least incompetency, right? So it shows you that these guys aren't good referees because they've been given extra support. They've been given fucking extra referees on the lines before and they were still making an arse of decisions. They've now got video that is conclusive. It should be conclusive, but it's still inconclusive because the referees don't even know the rules. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be a point now where we're saying these guys aren't good enough. Make referees a full-time position in Scotland. Give them the training, and then do you know what? If they're still no good after that, chase them. Get a new referee in. See if you make bad decisions in a game, you're demoted. Go to fucking League 3. Don't just give them games and games and games and games. Continue to get them because they're getting over £1,000 a game, mate, to referee a game in Scotland. That's shocking. You know what I mean? These guys are actively changing the course of games through their inconsistencies. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I agree. I agree with both of you. There's a good comment there for Gary Melrose. But this one here for Dermot, spot on Paddy, the evidence will show their inconsistencies, biases. And for Gary Melrose as well, I love it. John Coyle also makes a good point.
Gary.
Again, we're talking about can we prove it? However, there's a different way to influence it. It's to highlight it, put a spotlight on it more and more, and make them embarrassed. Call it out for what it is, and that would be more people like Michael Stewart, who's brave enough to actually call a spade on television, whereas other people are much more following the company policy. We need more people like that to actually call it out for what it is. And by the way, Michael Stewart is not a guy who's a Celtic man. You know, I think he's like a guy for Edinburgh, correct me if I'm wrong. And even Paddy, as you said, that handball at the Hearts game, he was saying that the one that should have went for us, he was saying it wasn't a handball. So I think he's his own man. I would like to say that anyway. He's definitely not a Celtic man. So
there's my old pal Nick. I'm just going to comment on this one, Gav, if you don't mind. Nick Hobbs. This came up both ways. Don't accept it just because we are winning games. You're absolutely right, Nick. Absolutely right, Nick. But obviously, we all know this country. We all know what the views are towards us by certain sects of this country. I think the best time for us to call it out is when we're winning, because we can't be deemed as sore losers. Because we're still going, we're still winning games, and this is the time to complain about it, because all we're doing is we're analysing it the same way that you would to analyse a game of football. Just because you win a game of football doesn't mean to say that you're not going to sit and critique kind of parts and elements of the game that was negative for your side. So it should be the same in all way officiating. It's just, it's absolutely, honestly, mate, it's absolutely perplexing. See, if you were an alien who liked football and you came down for fucking Saturn and you were watching the Scottish game, you'd be like, who are these fucking cretins?
Aye, that would be the first thought.
If they play football on Saturn, fucking send all the bastard referees up there to fucking referee it without a fucking helmet.
And the Kens Rust the whole. Yeah, and another one for Ken's Rust. By the way, guys, if you've not done it already, please hit that like button. But the whole reason this VAR shite was added was so we can check things that the human eye possibly couldn't. See, it's fucking shocking how these refs are allowed to do this, but we are winning, but it's still shocking. I hear people's comments to say that we should only call it out when we're winning, which is more often than not. But what happens if you're a team who gets scudded every week? Does that mean that you need to shush? I think we should call it out no matter what. But again, is it Ange? Maybe not the best for Ange to get into the trenches and dirty himself, soil himself with those fucking cretins, because they'll drag him down to their level as well. Yeah, man. Saturn, aye. Who are the planets? Aye.
See what happens. The random shit that pops into your head when you're just having a rant. That's mental.
Jamaican joke. Jim Trainer.
Yeah, Jim Trainer.
Aye.
Trainer. Oh man. Oh, but listen. At least as you say, mate, it's still no stopping us. We're determined that we won't let anybody stop us. The only person that will stop Celtic is Celtic, and it ain't happening.
And for Ed Scotland, the only person who stops Joe Biden is Joe Biden. However, thanks for this. Most sarcastic laughs and being angry. Right, guys. We'll be back for the Jungle Gyms Tuesday TikTok. Aye. Is there anything else that you guys want to bring up before we call it an evening?
Andy,
Apart from saying fuck VAR and fuck the referees and fuck the SFA, and well, I could go on and on.
beautiful, mate. Couldn't have put it any better myself.
To the commenters, thanks very much for all the views that you've brought in. It's been an absolute pleasure. And aye, somebody told me, I would say, it was actually saying we need to score like 3 goals now to at least be in contention for a game now. And thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the game and our podcast. And of course, the podcast is not that much fun without you guys. So thank you for all the regulars and the new faces as well. Thanks very much.
Aye, and if you happen to be residing in a Govan area, please put on a hat, scarf, and gloves because I believe it's -9 outside.
Brilliant,
Wrap up,
lads.
Warren. Wrap up, Warren.
9 points clear. World Cup break. However, we'll still be doing the Tuesday TikTok, and if we can think of anything else, any other topical episodes, we'll certainly do that as well. But we'll see you back on Tuesday. Andy, thanks very much. Really enjoyed.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure, mate. And you're welcome back in anytime at all. But
you.
for myself, Andy, Paddy, we'll catch you on Tuesday. And hit the like button, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Hey, well.
Well.